Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So, y'all, yesterday I finally watched Tyler Perry's new movie, A Fall from Grace. Y'all, let's just get right into it. We just gonna get right into this review because it's bananas, like bananas. Okay, so when the movie first starts, I'm so like totally confused because it starts off with this old lady, like an elderly lady, threatening to jump off the roof. And then the police are behind her trying to calm her down, and she actually jumps off the roof. And I'm just like, bro, what? Okay, you have the main character, her name is Grace Waters, and she is currently in prison for the murder of her husband, or the alleged murder of her husband. She actually wants to plead guilty. And so everybody is like, yo, this is an easy case, yeah, she's definitely going to jail. So Grace Waters has this public defender named Jasmine. So Jasmine is like this, like, pretty young lawyer, up-and-coming lawyer, whatever it is, and she is supposed to defend Grace. And so Grace is already, like I said, she admitted, she's like, yes, I'm guilty. She wants to sign the plea deal, but Jasmine is like adamant, like, no, there's something going on here. She's like, it just doesn't seem right. Like, you're like a nice looking lady, like, you look just calm, you look so innocent, like, this couldn't have been you. And Grace is looking at her like, Jasmine, I did it. So she goes to digging. Right? She's like, I'm not just gonna just let this lady just get 15 years to life. Like, are you kidding me? So her boss, which is played by Tyler Perry, is this like mean butthole. Like, he's just on her case, like, Jasmine, get Grace to sign the plea deal. So Jasmine goes to digging, and she says, okay, Grace, I want to help you, but you need to tell me the truth because I know you didn't do this. You have to tell me what happened. So she's like, so Grace is like, okay, fine, boop, I'm gonna tell you what happened. Y'all, okay. So she's like, first of all, it all started with her friend Sarah. Hey, I said friends, oh, friends. You see, friends? A lot of friends are not good. Like, a friendship, no. But anyway, okay, so she has this friend named Sarah Miller. This is supposedly like her best friend. They talk, they this, that, they hang out, whatever. Grace tells her friend, like, okay, she came from a divorce. Her husband's rich. Her husband left her for another woman. He got all this money. He's letting his new wife enjoy the life that Grace should have, enjoyed. Kind of something like acrimony, I guess, whatever. But that's not the point. So she's like depressed, but she's like, I just want to love again. I just want to get out there again. I want to be appreciated. So she is confiding in her friend Sarah, like most of us would do. So Sarah's like, yeah, girl, you know what? You just need to step out. You need to get out more. You're just at home all the time. All you do is work, because Grace Waters works for the bank. She makes a pretty good, decent living doing so. So Sarah convinces her to go to this art gallery after work. So right after work, girl, she didn't even go home and change. She went straight to the art gallery. So she gets there. She meets the artist named Shannon. So basically her and Shannon exchange words. It's a little flirtatious, a little flirty things going on here and there. It's nothing serious. So she ends up leaving. So I believe the next couple days he courts her. He sends her flowers to her job. Like, he finds out where she lives. It seemed kind of stalkerish, but it was like in a cute way, So she thinks nothing of it. And at this point, mind you, she's an older woman, and Shannon is more like, he's a younger guy. So she's thinking, no, he would never be, serious about me. But he actually courts her. Like, he courts her the way any old-fashioned woman would want. Like, to be honest, he's very, he knows what to say. He just basically makes her fall head over heels in love with him. Like, she is in love with this man. Mind you, every detail about their romance, she's telling Sarah. Okay, she's basically updating Sarah, like, yeah, girl, we went to the park today. We went out today. He took me out. He said this. He said that. She's updating Sarah. So long story short, finally Shannon proposes to Grace and they get married. So one day, she goes to work and she gets a call from her boss. Her boss tells her to come see him in his office. So when she gets there, basically some money has been missing from the company's account, and it looks as if she's the one that withdrew almost $300 and something thousand from the company's account. And she is like confused. She like, I've been working for y'all for how many years? I would never do this. This is not me. And they're not even trying to hear it. The boss is like, you need to leave effective immediately. I'm gonna get security on you. Whoop-de-whoop. So she leaves and she goes home and she's really confused. Like, what? Like, this is not me. So she's like wrecking her brain and she calls Sarah. So her and Sarah are trying to figure it out. She's also kind of going through some things with her husband, Shannon, And she's like, she heard him on the phone with a girl. So it just so happened coincidentally that this is going on, and she's calling Shannon, and Shannon is nowhere to be found. So she's telling Sarah, like, oh my God, he probably went somewhere with the girl I heard him on the phone with the other night. And Sarah, these names, okay. Sarah, remember, stay with me. Sarah is the friend. Grace is the one that's being tried. Sarah is her friend, and Shannon is Grace's new husband. So Sarah, the friend, is trying to comfort her friend Grace, and is like, no, it's nothing like that. You know, we just got to keep hope alive. You know, there must be an explanation. So finally, Shannon walks through the door when Sarah is there, and he's like, oh, hey, what's up? What's up? You know, walking like nothing. He has no clue as to what's going on. Grace explodes because she's like, oh my God, you know, whatever, what is going on? Like, I'm being framed, like all this stuff. So he's like, okay, babe, don't worry. I'm gonna stick with you through this. You know, we're gonna figure this out. Let's call the IRS. Let's call the police. We're gonna figure out what's going on. So they stay up all night going through her paperwork, going through her computer, basically trying to figure out what's going on, calling different people. So they go to the, she goes to the police station, and the police basically give her an address and said that the money's been notarized and all of that stuff. So she goes to the address, and the address looks abandoned. It looks like nobody's lived there for like years. And so basically she goes back to the police station, and she says, okay, well, is there any way you guys have footage of what could possibly go on? Tell me why, y'all. Long story short, all along, guess who had the money? Her husband, Shannon. He went into the bank, stole Grace's identity, typed in her passwords, whatever he had to do, and he stole that money. And so when she finally confronts him, he lies. He lies until she has to show him the footage on his phone. On her phone, before he confesses. And he's like, okay, babe, I needed the money, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's mine. And she like, no, I need that money back. I could possibly go to jail. Like, I need that money. He's like, don't you know the laws of the state? Listen, what? He was like, don't you know the, and she was like, what are you talking about? That's my money. He was like, no, it's not, darling, sweetheart. It's our money. I'm your legally wedded husband. So it's our money. And she like, you need to give me that money. Like, and he like, no, I don't care. He starts laughing. So basically he's been lying to her this whole time, that he's been this perfect gentleman and that he was everything she ever wanted, when really he was this opportunist. He was a liar. He was just a despicable human being, really. So, y'all, and it's not even done. So then he starts turning into who he really is. Like, he's not turning into, actually, because this is who he is, but he just shows her his true colors. Now he's cheating on her in her face, like bringing women over, like just being disrespectful. So one day, after she caught her husband and this woman red-handed, she waited for them to be done. And then when he was done, he's like basically being rude. And he was like, you know what? You a nice person, so you do deserve the truth. To be honest, yeah, I do love you, but it's not the way you love me. And yeah, I took the money because I needed it. Actually, you deserve me. I'm sorry. He said, actually, you owe me that money. And she like, what are you talking about? He was like, because I brought joy into your miserable life. You think that was for nothing? Like, just going off, like just disrespecting this lady at the highest capacity. And she's sitting there just taking it. And then she snaps. My girl goes in the back room, y'all. She goes in the back room. There's like a bat laying right on the floor, in the corner or whatever. My girl take a bat. Wait, let me find a bat. Okay, so this my makeup brush is gonna be my bat. My girl take a bat, right? She goes in the back of his head while he talking a bunch of you needed me and I changed your life. And my girl said, boom, 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 boom. Bashed that man's head clean in. Blood splashing, flying everywhere. I was like, no, don't do it, Grace. That girl said, boom. She threw that bat like, done with it. And that was it, right? It's still not done. This movie's still not done. So I'm like, yo, how did she get caught? So she took his body and she rolls it in the basement. She said she just kept driving for hours till she was in the middle of nowhere. And I was just like, bruh, now this movie's starting to get like really interesting. And so the first person, who did she call? She called Sarah. And she telling Sarah like, oh my God, like, you know, I killed him. Like, this is what happened. I snapped on whatever. So mind you, fast forward to reality. Like, this whole story that we're seeing is her thinking, and she's telling Jasmine, her lawyer, what's going on. Jasmine's like, no, she's gonna figure out. She wants to know what's going on. So she goes. She had already talked to Sarah to figure out what happened to Grace, but Sarah didn't want to really talk too much. And then even when she pulled up at Sarah's house, like, she was hearing noises, and it just, something seemed weird, like something was off. And when she came to talk to Sarah, Sarah kind of hurriedly asked her, like, you know, all of a sudden she heard a noise, and then she told her to leave. Like, she was like, okay, I'll talk to you later. So now she comes back to Sarah, and she's like, Sarah, why didn't you tell me that, you know, this is how she killed her husband? Why didn't you tell me all of this? And Sarah's like, oh, you know, blah, blah, whatever. So then Jasmine's boss, again played by Tyler Perry, is on her back to make Grace sign this plea deal. Jasmine would leave, and then she would come back, and Grace would tell her a little bit more about what happened. So when Jasmine comes back, these names, I'm sorry, y'all, these names. When Jasmine comes back, Grace tells her some more, and Grace says that at this point now, like, she is completely, like, done with her husband, Shannon. So she's asking Shannon to leave her house, right? Shannon's like, no, woman. Now he calling her out her name. He's just being disrespectful. So she tried to call the police, for the police to make him to leave. The police are like, no, you can take him to court, but it's gonna take like 2 years, or you could pay 10 grand for a lawyer. She's like, I don't have this money. I'm telling you right now, I'm being sued by my job. This, that is going on. So then come to find out, mind you, she built her house from the ground up, and she hasn't paid a mortgage in 4 years. Tell me why her husband, Shannon, actually took a $375,000 mortgage out on her house. So now she's in debt. So he not only stole the money from her job, but he took a mortgage out on her house. This lady is like, yo, and I feel like that's what really made her snap. Sorry, y'all, I forgot to put that in there. So I feel like that's really what made her just go in. So now they take the case to court, and they finally convince, so now her, like I said, her boss, Tyler Perry, is like on her back to get this deal signed. So she like, no, I'm taking this to court. I'm taking it to court. So he's like, okay, since you don't want to listen to me, if you lose, when you do take this case to court and you lose, you are fired. So she like, okay, like, what do I have to lose? And my girl is just passionate, like, boom, I don't care. Like, I'm gonna fight for this lady. So they take it to court. All these different people testify, and they're brought to the witness stand. So finally, Jasmine takes Grace to the back and said, I guess it was like a break time thing or whatever. So Jasmine takes Grace to the back and says, hey, let's put Sarah on the witness stand. I'm pretty sure she can help your case. Grace is like, no, I don't want to put my friend in this. My friend or my son, I don't want them to have nothing to do with this. So y'all, at this point, I'm thinking that the son must have done something, or the friend must have done something, because I'm like, why is she like, she want to take the blame so bad, and she like, if it wasn't for me, they wouldn't have done what they had to do. So I'm thinking, I'm like, maybe they buried the body, or maybe they're an accomplice or something, because I'm like, she going so hard for her friend and her son. And so either way, Jasmine convinces her to bring Sarah to testify. So Sarah testifies, and Jasmine's questioning her. You know, if you've seen Criminal Minds and all these shows, you know how this works. So she's questioning her, and Sarah's answering the questions. You know, how long have you known Grace? Oh, we've been friends forever. She says we're like sisters. So then the nitty gritty questions come up when the opposing side starts to ask Sarah questions, and it's like, according to the phone records, we've seen that you called her 3 different times, one time at your house, then near her house, then back at your house. Why, you know, all these questions. And Sarah started panicking. She was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. She didn't know what to say. My girl looking like, and finally she just yells out, okay, Grace calls me to tell me that she killed her husband. Hey! The whole courtroom was like, and I'm sitting there mad. Like, why would you really? As she's leaving, like, so they went on a break, whatever. Long story short, Grace is found guilty, and I believe she had to do life. I believe that's what it came out to. So she's going past her. So Sarah's sitting here. Grace's son is sitting right next to Sarah. So Sarah rubbing Grace's son back, comforting him, like, your mom is gonna be okay. I'm gonna be right here. So Grace is walking past, and she sees Sarah telling her son it's okay, and she's telling Grace, you know, I'm sorry I said that. Grace like, it's okay, Sarah, you know, we still sisters, blah 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 blah. So as she's walking past, she notices a necklace, an African necklace, and she thinks back to when she first met her husband. He was wearing the same necklace. Bruh, that made me sit up in my seats, okay? I was like, wait, whoa. So when I saw that, I was like, yo, they was lovers. You see Friends? I was like, oh my God. She was cheating. She was sleeping with her husband, with her sister. She was sleeping with her friend's man this whole time. I was like, why? That's what made me think. I'm like, why was she so pressed for, you know, her friend Grace to go out with this man, get this man a chance? Like, she was always sticking up for this man. Come to find out, I'm thinking she's sleeping with this man this whole time. That's why. That ain't even it. That's not it, right? So at this point, once Grace has been, you know, found guilty, her lawyer, Jasmine, wants to give up. And she feels like, damn, like she just, you know, got defeated. And now she lost her job and all that stuff. So her man, he is such a good man. He's like supportive behind her. And he's telling her like, no, babe, you can't, you know, give up. So one day, Jasmine is driving past Sarah's house. She notices this older lady played by Cicely Tyson, my girl. And she sees her, you know, looking lost. So she pulls over and she's telling her, oh, you want to go home? Like, let's go back home, thinking that she lived with Sarah. Because when she first came to talk to Sarah, she did notice her kind of peeping through the window. But she looked kind of scared and weird. But, you know, Jasmine didn't think nothing of it at the time. So here you have this elderly lady saying, I want to go home. And she seems confused. So then Jasmine brings her inside Sarah's house, because that's where she lives. And when you look, she's like, I want to go home. And she yells out her address. She said, my address is 2920 something Sycamore Drive or Sycamore Street. So Jasmine recognizes the address. That was the same address that Grace gave Jasmine. Remember when she went to the bank and the bank told her that the money had been notarized, and the bank gave her an address to go and go look at it, whatever. And she went there. That was the same address. So when the lady recognized the address, she was like, Sycamore? And you have this older woman just spewing out different names. Oh, this thing happened, that person happened. And she jumped off I forgot the lady's name that she said jumped off the roof. But remember, that was the lady from the beginning of the movie that jumped off the roof. So now it's starting to make sense. Like, wait a minute. Bro, at this point, I have shivers. Like, I'm like, oh my God. So as they're talking, she hears like a rustling sound or like banging or something. I don't know. She hears a sound coming from the basement area. So Cicely, I'm gonna just call her Cicely Tyson, because I'm not about to. Yeah. So Cicely Tyson is like, they hungry. She like, who's hungry? So she goes down there and she's like, hello. She go in the basement and she sees a bunch of people, and they just look, these are elderly women that just look like they're being starved. They look like they're being tortured, and they're like, help me. And then her mouth is covered. Somebody covers her mouth and brings her to the back and ties her. So then Sarah comes home, y'all. Sarah comes home. So when Sarah comes home, she meets Cicely Tyson sitting down, and Cicely's like, I didn't let her in. Don't hurt me. I didn't let her in. And Sarah's like, let who in? She goes downstairs in the basement. She sees Jasmine tied up. And she tells Jasmine, you just couldn't mind your business. You just couldn't stop. So then the person that ties up Jasmine comes in the back of Sarah. And guess who it is? Grace's husband, Shannon. And he was like, you better listen to my mama. So that was Sarah's son the whole freaking time. That's why she was so pressed to make sure that her friend Grace marries Shannon, hangs with Shannon. That was her son. And this is apparently what they do. They go around and they find women who have money and they steal their money from them. Shannon makes them fall in love with him, and then he steals their money. And then he kidnaps them and ties them in the basement. And this has been going on for years. Come to find out, Shannon and Sarah have been using a bunch of aliases all over. Like, they have all these different identities, different names. They've been going on under different names for years. This is how they've been getting away with it. So then Jasmine's man pulls up at Sarah's house like, oh no. He bangs the door. Where's Jasmine? Sarah is like, I don't know what you're talking about. So then he's like, okay. Thankfully, Jasmine's phone was on the table. So her man calls her and the phone rings. So Sarah picks up the phone like, oh shit, she left her phone here. So then her man breaks through the door. He's like, where's my wife? And then they start tussling and fighting. He finally handcuffs her and tells her to lay on the table. And he like, don't move. I'm like, you know she about to run. Like, what are you talking about? And that's exactly what she did. She left. Thankfully, though, before he got in the house, he did call for backup. Because I'm like, you dumb. Like, why? I would have handcuffed her, brought her outside, and had her in the police car. We would have waited for backup. But he left Sarah on the table And then he tried to go downstairs by himself. So when he went downstairs by himself, Sarah escaped. So as he went downstairs, he opens the door. He finds Sarah, but Sarah's mouth is tied, you know, and she like she's trying to tell him, like, watch out. And then, boom, Shannon strikes her man, her husband. And then they start fighting, they start tussling, and then Jasmine break free. She like, no, not my man, not my man. So then she gets her husband's gun. I forgot the husband's name. She gets the husband's gun, and boom, boom, boom. She shoots Shannon in the chest 3 times, and then Shannon's done. So then it's not over. It's not over. So then they start telling the tea, like, okay, yeah, Shannon and Sarah, this is what they do. They're a mother-son duo. They go around all different states, and they've been doing this for years, and this is how they get money. This is how they sustain themselves. And so basically the court offers an official apology to Grace, and they're like, oh, the state of Virginia just wants to officially apologize to you. You're set free, and blah, blah, blah. So then at the end of the movie, I was waiting for Sarah to get caught, to get tried. Like, I was waiting for her to, I'm like, okay, the movie not done yet. No. Sarah basically gets away with it, and she moves on to the next state. They don't say where she goes, but she's changed her name officially. I forgot her name, but she basically is up to the same thing, because her new place of business, she's asking about the older women there and what do they do for a living and all that stuff. So she's up to her same ways, and I'm just like pissed because she didn't get caught. I really wanted her to get caught. And I'm mad because that was played by Felicia Rashad, and that's one of my role models. But I was like, girl. So you guys, this concludes the end of this amazing, amazing Tyler Perry movie, A Fall from Grace. If you haven't checked it out, run to Netflix right now. This movie taught me, like, basically be smart. Like, just you know, be in love, but take your brain with you, and you just gotta cover yourself. Make sure that you're protected, because anything can happen. Like, the way they courted, it was so innocent, and he seemed like the perfect guy. And I feel like he took advantage of the fact that she was from Sarah, because again, she vented to Sarah how she wanted love and all these things. So Sarah and her son used that to their advantage in order to get and gain the trust of Grace and to gain Grace's money. So overall, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this review, and let me know if you guys have seen it. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if I was a little crazy for feeling how I felt. But yes, if you guys want to see how I completed this look, go ahead and follow me on my Instagram page, Sia on the Beats, per usual. Make sure you guys are following me on my Instagram, Sia Supreme with 2 underscores. Follow me on Snapchat, Sia 1_ so favored. Follow me on my Instagram page, Sia on the Beat. And make sure you guys are subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe before you end this video. I appreciate it. Like, share, comment, all of that. I thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. I'll see y'all in my next video.